Hey guys, this is Tiger. I'm gonna go over a quick explanation on how to play the early game and the map and the macro level for Tomb of the Spider Queen. Alright, on this map, the standard laning is you have your 4-man go from mid to top rotation. Alright, and your off laner is bottom. Your bruiser, your solo laner is in the bottom lane. So the reason why this is the standard laning and rotation for Tomb of the Spider Queen is because if you rotate mid and top with your 4-man, it's easier for you to turn in gems in the top side if you have more wave clear, if you have better rotations in the enemy team. So on this map, the wave clear is so important because on smaller maps in general, when you have wave clear, you get rotational advantage. And if you have rotational advantage, it helps you obtain a map control. Because let's say, theoretically speaking, let's say the minions are right here, right? And, let's say, both teams are fighting for the minion wave, right? Let's say the blue team has way better wave clear than the red team. They can simply just clear the entire creep wave while the red team has to stay and clear the minions because it's XP and it's gems, right? Gems are really important early game. And while you're already rotating to the top side of the map, right? And clearing the top lane. Because mid lane always converges first and the side lanes converge after the mid lane. That's why you see a lot of people A-ramming mid in the beginning or 5-manning mid in the beginning. The reason why people 5-man mid is because if you have superior wave clear or you have superior getting a pick and fighting and killing someone, you want to bully them in the beginning so you can obtain faster rotation, which is map control, which is gaining map control. Let's say the blue team already cleared mid, red team is catching up, and you're already going top lane and clearing top. It means the red team is on catch up the entire game. They have to send somebody. There's people mid soaking the wave because it can't clear it fast enough. And now since your team is already clearing top lane up here on the top side, and let's say they're clearing it while the red team is already starting to clear mid lane, they have to rotate top and soak that. So you're always behind in playing catch up. And if you're doing that, that means the blue team has freedom to turn in gems, to do their camps, to rotate bottom for a gank. It gives them a lot of opportunity, and that's the reward for obtaining map control, okay? Alright, so one thing I want to stress out is in the early game, right? Fighting and getting picks, is really fun and really entertaining, but it's not the safest way to play. And getting picked early game on a smaller map, you can get really punished really hard, and it can lead up to a snowball. So I honestly think that you should focus on safely clearing minions, getting soak, don't lose your gems, don't lose gems while soaking, and not getting picked. And one way for you to do that is just to stay as a 4-man and rotate. So if you have 4 people, let's say your healer, damage, and then your tank, right? So if you guys just clear together and everything's so much faster. And if you're faster at doing things than the enemy team, then you just rotate faster and you can do a lot of other things with map control. And that's what you want. That's how you gain an early momentum in the early game, which can lead to an early turn-in, to camp timings being a lot earlier than enemy team. It gives you more freedom and you don't lose much. If you're the red team with less wave clear, what you want to do is look to either stall rotations or do something else. So one thing that you can do is let's say you're red team and you have really bad wave clear, even though you shouldn't, right? You can have one person top, one person mid, your offlaner is bottom, and you can have 2 people roaming bottom to gank. You have 2 people doing camps, and as long as they're not sieging buildings and taking your towers for more XP, you're not really losing much besides them turning in gems, right? You're still getting the same XP, the same gems, but now you have 2 people who are free to do your night camp at 1 minute. They can either rotate bottom lane here and do the ogres at 1 minute. If you go through like all the way down here in the underneath, like that's all fog, so they can't really see you rotate, right? Or you can, you know, look for a gank bottom, and it's a lot safer than just like fighting them nonstop and you're tanking minions because you have no wave clear, or you're always like, you're a 4-man wave clearing, but you're always in the back foot anyways, right? I want to tell you guys the importance of gems. Every lane, there's 3 gems. The 3 spiders in the back have 1 gem each, and gems are so important on this map because it's the objective, right? You need to pay gems to get the objective. If you, let's say like you have the enemy team, for example, has a turn-in, right? And they use all of their gems in the beginning. Let's say you have like, you know, 40 gems, or like, you know, a lot of gems stacked up because you couldn't turn in. If you lose all your gems, it's pretty much GG in a way, because the game is like 3 times, 5 times as harder, because you don't have the power of the objective to turn in and use the objective, right? To like gain towers, kill buildings. Objectives are pretty much a way for you to obtain more map control, momentum. It allows you to siege, you know, and gain more XP. It just gives you an advantage all around just having the objective. So on this map, right? On this map particularly, the camps would be, so you have night camps on each side, right? And there's 1 siege camp in the bottom side. So these spawn at exactly 1 minute in the game. Once this timer hits 1 minute, the camps instantly spawn. So when the camp spawns at 1 minute, it is impossible for either team, unless they get massive amounts of picks, because every time you die, you give an enemy 3 gems for free, no matter what, right? When you die in this map, you gain gems from the enemy. So at 1 minute, you guys should be doing camps. Like the camp here, the night camp is so important, or the siege camp in the bottom, because it's a way for you to pressure the map without having a high risk. It's like a very high reward because they're strong. You gain a mage aura for your minion wave, your heroes, your mercenaries on the mid lane, and it takes a while for it to clear. And if it takes a while for it to clear, and let's say the enemy team has no wave clear, it's going to take them a long time to clear it, right? And how are they going to clear it if they have no wave clear? It takes them forever. And you can use this camp to either get structural damage at middle, but most of the time when people take this camp and they clear it and the enemy team is clearing it, if they clear, so let's say you take the night camp and it's coasting, right? So you take the night camp, it's coasting, right? And let's say you clear the entire wave. So now the enemy team is going to be like over here, just clearing the night camp, right? What you can do now is use that camp early game to turn in your gems. Turning your gems is really important because it will help you get a faster turn in, and a faster turn in leads to, you know, getting a lot of towers, a huge XP lead, you know, it's the objective. This is really strong. So at 1 minute, if you guys do the camps, there's no way either teams can turn in. There's not enough gems on the map. So you can do it with solace, you know, like they can't turn in if I do this camp, like there's no way for them to do it. So doing the camp is really important, okay, because it'll allow you to turn in gems, it'll allow you to get building damage, it'll allow you to, if they're all here clearing mid, it'll allow you to go top and clear it and maybe get a tower for free while turning in your gems. A lot of teams, what they like to do is, like in the higher games, they like to sneak in this fog area, you know, because this pathing right here is all fog. The enemy team can't see you unless you're in the bush. So I like to go here and steal the ogre camp, because the ogre camp with your bruiser, your bruiser and your offlaner just gets a big advantage. So what this ogre camp can do for your offlaner in the 1v1 lane, in the bottom lane, is he can clear the lane with the ogre camp, the siege camp, and then he can go turn in while that other guy is clearing the siege camp. So you can go turn in his gems, you can go rotate mid and help and outman them in like a mid rotation fight. He can go off and help them do the night camp. He can go keep bowling bottom from your ogre camp so it sieges the towers. He can do a lot of things. It just gives him a lot of window of opportunity to do things and just stalemate 1v1ing and not dying to a gank or something. But the night camp is really, really powerful, and that's why you want a lot of wave clear in these smaller maps. one thing that people don't understand is if you let's say you have a turn-in, right, and you're summoning spiders, okay, a lot of people don't know how to gain value from your turn-in, and you see that a lot in games, and like even in GM or Master Game, you see it all the time, right? Of course, you see it in the lower ranks, but basically, grouping is the way you get value while pushing with the turn-in, okay? Because you want to be aggressive and aggressive enough to get buildings. So bullying the enemy off so you can get towers. You know, you want basically the towers from your first turn-in, because the first turn-in isn't so strong. But if you group and you're stronger than the enemy team with wave clear or, you know, anything like that, or damage and CC, you can fight them off or poke them off. Like, you want these towers. These towers give you a lot of XP early, and it spawns in all 3 lanes. So the worst thing to do during your turn-in is to split, because if you split, you're literally letting your turn-in be wasted, because the enemy team can just clear it while they're defending. The enemy team can clear the spiders very easily, or a lot easier than it would be when you're grouped, right? Because you apply more pressure with more heroes. So for example, let's say the enemy team, let's say the blue team turned in, right? So let's say the blue team turned in, right? What you want to do is clear the top lane after you turn in, clear the mid lane, and then pick a lane. So you don't have to soak top because you cleared it, right? And the spiders will coast, right? So let's say the blue team clears this entire creep wave when they turn in and they rotate down middle, okay? Let's say that. So when they're down middle here, they can just push with their objective because they don't need to soak top. They could just get the towers with their objective as 4. But the red team, okay, the red team has something, like, since they're defending, right, they're on the lower hand. They're on like a disadvantage because they have to split up to defend, right? So they need one person soaking the top lane and clearing the spider. They have one person bottom clearing the spider, and then they usually have like 3 people middle, right, defending, right? So if you the blue team and you've already cleared the top and you're at mid side pushing with your spider, right, then you outman them. You have 4 people mid. They only have 3. They have 1 top, 1 bottom, or also losing XP. You can get that tower. You can probably get the towers. Very highly probable you can get the towers, you know? Like, and then rotate up. One person can't clear that spider instantly unless it's like a gray main or like something with really, really good wave clear / single damage, right? So, but when you get these towers here, you can like rotate up, or if your creep wave, your spider's about to die mid, you can just rotate up and get these towers too, because there's only 1 person from the enemy team, right? The red team would have to, after the mid, they would have to rotate the safe way, the long safe way of rotation, which is like that, right? To help him. Well, you can just do the fast rotation of here and just killing the towers, right? And there's only 1 person defending. They can't defend against 4 heroes. So that's your, you know, your objective aggressive advantage for having the objective pushing in the beginning. And you want to use your grouping of 4 heroes or outmanning the heroes to get advantage. So the enemy team, so let's say that the enemy team, what they want you to do actually, if you think about it, is they want you to split up. Because since they're like, if you split up, it's less pressure, right? It's less pressure on a single lane, and it's easier for the enemy team to defend because you're not outmanning them. You're literally letting them have an even fight when they're defending, or an even chance to defend very well. You don't want to give the defenders an advantage, you know, while you're trying to get things and, you know, trying to punish them and get XP, you know, getting value from your objective. You don't want to split up. They want you to split up. They want you to split up because it's like, hey, you're not outmanning us in the lanes anymore. We can 3v3 you mid and 1v1 you top and 1v1 you bottom. It's a lot better if you're defending, right? But if you're 4v3ing or 4v1, or you go bottom instead of top and you 4v1 bottom, you can pressure and gain a lot more things together as a team, as a group, than you would split up. Even if you sacrifice a few minions, you know, like of XP, like you you can make that all up with early game tower XP or building XP, right? And if you're defending like the red team, right? If you're defending, you don't want to lose your gems. If you lose your gems because you're trying to fight instead of wave clearing, right? Because the biggest mistake when you're defending is trying to fight the enemy team. You only need to do that if you're pushed into a corner and you need to have some sort of crazy all-in play to come back. But you never want to be that far behind, all right? So if you don't, so the red team doesn't want to lose their gems because after the defense, they want to do a turn in too. Because if the blue team turns in, they don't have gems for another turn in, right? You only see teams turn in back to back if they have a lot of gems around mid game or late game, right? And they could turn it back to back. But the red team, like when you're defending, you don't want to lose your gems. Like if your buildings die, they die. Like you don't want to go overboard on like trying to pick a fight while defending. You have to choose, right? It's kind of like pushing. When you're pushing a building and you want the building, your objective to push isn't kills. It's the buildings, right? And now since the tower changes and everything, they hurt and they kill you really, really quickly. So when you push, the one thing that you need to prioritize is the buildings. When you push, buildings first, kills later, unless they like super end. When you're defending, it's clear the objective, clear the minions, you know, like the wave, like clear everything, right? Like as safe as possible. So you don't want to be looking for a fight. You want to be looking to just defend very well. And when you're pushing, you don't want to be looking for a super fight all the time. You want to be looking for structural damage because structural damage is free XP and you gain map control because there's nowhere for you to kite. There's no safe spot. You can't run away. Opens up the map for you. And structural damage is it's always there. You know, like when you kill a tower, it never comes back. When you kill a hero, you come back, right? So that's what you want to do on the defending and when you look for defending or pushing, okay? And don't be greedy when you have the objective and don't be greedy when you're defending. You should only be greedy if you have a very big advantage. Like you got a pick and it's like 5v4 or 5v3 or 4v3. That's a big advantage, okay? Getting a pick and then pushing with your objective or something. You don't want to just like go out of your way and like look for a pick you don't need, you know? You guys should think of it that way. Defenders always have an advantage because they have buildings. That's why you want to focus on clearing the wave. Because if your buildings don't die, then like you can defend so much easier because, you know, they're killing things. They'll help you defend off heroes attacking you by your wall, or they'll help you kill minions or the spider, you know? You want to defend your towers. That's the whole point. Because you have defender's advantage. You have buildings to help you clear and help you defend. And attacker's advantage is, you know, attacker's advantage is usually that on a 3-lane map, you can group and outman them to gain an advantage, right? So also on this map, right, the boss lane. Talk about the boss lane a bit, all right? The boss lane, the top lane, you see more than not, most games end up you lose from top. Because if you're the boss around, let's say, if you ever boss and then time it with your turn in with the spider and they go together in a lane, it's pretty much a keep for sure if you time it correctly. Most people don't time it correctly. So what you need to do is do the boss. So let's say, you know, you killed 2 or 3 members of an enemy team and you're doing a boss and you have a turn in, right? You do the boss. So you do the boss, and when the boss is almost dead, you literally send people to turn in. Your spider turns in, and then you cap the boss and you go together in the lane. Don't split up, just go and push the lane. Other lanes don't matter with XP unless you really need it to get, like, you know, a talent advantage or a heroic advantage. Because with a boss and a spider turn in, you can go all the way to the keep if timed correctly, even if it's a a very, very like early boss to have, and it's not that strong. The spider with multiple heroes with your boss hosting together is so powerful. Most people, what they do is they do the boss and then they turn in and your boss is already dying to people defending it. So when your spider comes, your boss is already dead and you only have a spider. That's like way less value. You know, you're not gonna even get a keep from that. Maybe you get like keep wall or something, or maybe only a 4 in like a tower or something. But yeah, that's like a GG type of thing, the boss lane. So that's how you get in value, like the ultimate value and death push pretty much. You see a lot of death pushes on the boss lanes or on like a double camp lane, right? So that's basically it.